Ever played a game so good it made you pause and think, yeah, this is a straight-up masterpiece? We're talking the kind of games that feel flawless from start to finish. The ones you still think about years later. Well, today's video is packed with exactly those kinds of titles. In 14 perfect 10-10 games you need to play right now, I'm diving into the absolute best of the best. Games that nailed everything and left no room for doubt. If you're looking for your next unforgettable gaming experience, you're in the right place. Let's jump in and celebrate the games that truly got it perfect. You ever load into a game and just stop moving because the world is so beautiful you forget there's even a mission? That's exactly what happened the first time I played The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. It's one of those rare games where exploration actually feels like an adventure, not just a checklist. From climbing mountains just to see what's on the other side, to stumbling across hidden shrines and solving clever puzzles, the entire world feels alive and reactive in a way that constantly rewards curiosity. The freedom it gives you is insane. You can go anywhere, do anything, and figure things out however you want. One minute you're paragliding across a canyon, the next you're cooking up weird meals with whatever you found in the forest, and somehow it all just works. The physics, the weather, even how enemies react to your actions, it all creates this immersive sandbox where every moment feels like your own unique story. And let's not even get started on the sense of scale. The world just stretches on forever and always feels like there's something waiting just over the next hill. Whether you're new to the series or a longtime fan, this game delivers a pure, unforgettable journey that genuinely feels like stepping into another world. You know that feeling when a game grabs you from the very first moment and refuses to let go? That's exactly what happened when I played God of War 2018. It's not just a reboot, it's a full-on reinvention that takes everything epic and brutal from the old games and mixes it with real heart and emotional depth you don't usually see in action games. Playing as Kratos now feels way more grounded, but no less intense. Every swing of the axe has weight, every encounter demands focus, and the combat is so satisfying, it's hard not to grin after every fight. What really surprised me though is how personal the story feels this time. It's not just about gods and monsters, it's about a father and son trying to understand each other while surviving a world that's constantly trying to tear them apart. The Norse world is absolutely stunning too, full of hidden secrets, strange creatures, and jaw-dropping moments that make you want to stop and explore every corner. There's this incredible balance between tight cinematic storytelling and open-ended exploration that keeps things fresh the entire time. Whether you're smashing through enemies or just soaking in the atmosphere, the game constantly delivers moments that stick with you long after you put the controller down. Have you ever played a game where every side quest feels more detailed than the main storyline in most other RPGs? That's exactly how it feels diving into The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. This game doesn't just give you a fantasy world, it throws you into a gritty, living realm full of danger, mystery, and choices that actually matter. Riding through war-torn villages, dense forests, and monster-infested swamps as Geralt of Rivia feels like stepping into a dark fairy tale. Except you're the one deciding how it ends. The swordplay is intense and strategic. The magic system is easy to pick up, but rewarding to master. And the characters you meet along the way are so well written that you end up caring about their stories just as much as your own. Whether you're slaying terrifying beasts, navigating political chaos, or just sitting down for a round of Gwent in a quiet tavern, there's always something pulling you in. And what really makes the experience unforgettable is the way your choices ripple across the world, shaping outcomes in ways you don't always see coming. It's not just a game you play, it's a story you live, and once you're in, it's nearly impossible to walk away without feeling like you've been part of something massive. You ever start a game just to check it out and suddenly realize hours have flown by and you're completely hooked? That's exactly what happened to me with Elden Ring. It's one of those rare open-world games that doesn't just give you freedom, it dares you to explore, to take risks, to follow your curiosity, and stumble into the unknown without a hint of hand-holding, and somehow that makes every discovery feel earned and unforgettable. The world is absolutely massive and filled with eerie ruins, hidden dungeons, towering castles, and creatures that range from jaw-dropping to downright terrifying. And the way everything connects together is pure genius. What really pulls you in, though, is the sense of challenge. Every boss fight feels like a real test, not just of reflexes, but of patience, strategy, and guts. And when you finally take one down, the rush is unreal. And the best part? You get to shape your character exactly how you want, whether you're into massive swords, sneaky spells, or wild combinations in between. There's no wrong way to play, and that kind of creative freedom makes every playthrough feel unique and personal. It's not just about leveling up or ticking off quests. It's about carving your own path through a brutal but beautiful world, and every step of the journey is packed with surprises. Sneaking through a jungle covered in mud, trying not to breathe too loud while a guard walks right past you. That's the kind of tension and thrill you get in Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater. And honestly, it's unforgettable from the moment it starts to the final emotional punch at the end. This game delivers one of the most gripping stealth action experiences ever made. But what really sets it apart is how it drops you into this dense, wild environment where survival matters just as much as strategy. You're not just avoiding cameras, you're hunting for food, healing injuries, managing camouflage, and really feeling like you're out in the field. Completely alone and on your own, the attention to detail is crazy. From how enemies react to sound and movement, to how your gear and choices impact every encounter and the story. It hits hard in all the right ways, especially if you love deep characters and unexpected twists. It's a perfect blend of intense gameplay and cinematic storytelling, and even today, it holds up incredibly well, with a vibe that's unlike anything else out there. If you've never played it, or it's been a while, this is one of those must-play games that reminds you why the medium is so powerful. There's something unforgettable about that moment when you're creeping through a crumbling building, barely breathing, trying not to alert that one clicker just a few feet away. And that's exactly the kind of tension that makes The Last of Us such a legendary experience. It's not just about post-apocalyptic survival. It's about the human moments, the raw emotion, and the way the world tells its story through every broken street and abandoned room. From the start, the game pulls you into this brutal yet beautiful journey across a world that's fallen apart. And what really hits hardest is how it balances intense stealth and combat with deep, emotional storytelling. Every encounter feels meaningful, every choice matters, and the bond between the characters just pulls you in until you're completely invested. Whether you're crafting supplies under pressure, scavenging for every last bullet, or just quietly exploring the ruins of what once was. It's the kind of game that sticks with you long after the credits roll, and if you've never played it, you're missing one of the most powerful stories gaming has ever delivered. You ever play a game that feels like stepping into a wild double life, where one minute you're taking exams and grabbing ramen with your friends, and the next you're diving into surreal dream worlds, stealing the twisted desires from corrupt adults? That's exactly the roller coaster Persona 5 Royal throws you on, and man, it's absolutely unforgettable. from the slick, stylized visuals to the insanely catchy soundtrack. Everything just oozes personality, but it's the gameplay loop that really hooks you, balancing your social life, leveling up friendships, and then heading into these massive mind-bending palaces to take down villains with turn-based battles that feel fast, strategic, and ridiculously satisfying. The story hits hard too, full of moments that make you laugh, rage, and maybe even tear up a bit. And each character you meet feels like someone you genuinely grow close to. By the time you reach the final stretch, it's not just about finishing a game. It's about saying goodbye to a world that felt like home. And if you've never jumped into this stylish ride before, trust me, Persona 5 Royal is a one-of-a-kind experience you don't want to miss.
Let's go. All right.
You know that feeling when a game completely consumes you, like you're walking through a nightmare you don't want to wake up from? That's Bloodborne in a nutshell. This beautifully twisted ride into a gothic horror world that's equal parts unsettling and addictive, where every narrow alley and shadowy cathedral is dripping with atmosphere and mystery. The combat is fast, aggressive, and absolutely ruthless, pushing you to stay on the offensive and master the rhythm of dodging, countering, and striking back with just the right amount of nerve and the world building. It's genius, the kind of experience where the more you explore, the more you realize just how deep and weird things get, uncovering cryptic clues, terrifying lore, and monstrous bosses that hit like nightmares ripped straight from your subconscious. And even when the game punishes you you keep coming back, because every victory feels like you earned it with pure skill and persistence. It's not just a game you play, it's a world you survive, and when you finally overcome that one brutal boss or unravel a hidden story thread, the satisfaction is unreal. Bloodborne doesn't just challenge you, it changes you. There's something unforgettable about booting up Half-Life 2 for the first time. It's that perfect mix of mystery, tension, and freedom that hooks you right away, like you've just stepped into a world that's alive and collapsing all at once, and you're caught in the middle of it with nothing but your wits and the tools you can scavenge. The gameplay flows with this brilliant mix of puzzle solving, exploration, and straight-up explosive action that never feels repetitive, and the way the game seamlessly blends storytelling into every corner of the environment just pulls you deeper without needing constant cutscenes or hand-holding. Using a physics system that was way ahead of its time and still feels surprisingly slick today, whether you're flinging objects with that gravity gun or navigating creepy corridors where every sound puts you on edge. And what really sticks with you is the atmosphere, the eerie silence between encounters, the strange characters you meet, the cities that feel like dystopian playgrounds for chaos. It's one of those rare games where the pacing feels handcrafted, keeping you on your toes and constantly wondering what's around the next corner, and by the end of it, you don't just remember the action, you remember the feeling of being inside a world that reacts to you, challenges you, and sticks in your head long after you put the controller down. You ever play a game that just makes you stop and stare, not because of flashy cutscenes or non-stop action, but because it feels like you're part of something bigger, something almost sacred? That's exactly what Shadow of the Colossus does. It drops you into this hauntingly empty world that somehow feels full of emotion, where your only goal is to take down these massive, awe-inspiring creatures that tower over you like living monuments. And each fight feels less like a boss battle and more like a puzzle wrapped in an adrenaline rush. The way you cling to fur, scramble up stone and desperately try to hold on while the Colossus thrashes through the skies wild. But in between the action, there's this eerie, peaceful quiet that gives you space to think, question, and absorb the beauty of it all. And what hits hardest is that weird mix of pride and guilt you feel every time one of these giants falls. It's powerful without saying a single word. And the game trusts you to feel the weight of what you're doing without spoon-feeding anything. Or it's minimalist, it's emotional, and it sticks with you in a way that's hard to explain unless you've played it. Like you were dropped into a forgotten legend and asked to make the impossible choice over and over again. And honestly, it's one of those games that doesn't just entertain, it leaves a mark. You know that feeling when a game just makes you smile non-stop like you're 5 years old again, discovering video games for the first time. That's exactly the kind of joy Super Mario Odyssey delivers from the moment you take control. It's like this explosive celebration of creativity where every world is bursting with charm, secrets, and personality. You're not just running and jumping, you're tossing your cap to possess everything from a T-Rex to a stack of Goombas. And that wild mechanic opens up endless ways to solve puzzles and explore in the most playful, unpredictable ways. The controls feel buttery smooth. The environments are so diverse, it's like hopping between different dreamlands. And whether you're platforming through a neon-lit city or swimming through a peaceful beach kingdom, there's always this feeling of wonder and discovery that keeps you grinning ear to ear. The music slaps, the animation pops, and even after you beat the main story, there's so much extra content packed in, it's almost overwhelming in the best way. It's one of those games where no matter how old you are or how long you've been gaming, it just hits that sweet spot of pure fun. And honestly, it reminds you why you fell in love with video games in the first place. Ever play a game where you feel like your brain is getting a full workout while you're also somehow solving a murder and arguing with your own thoughts? That's the wild brilliance of Disco Elysium. It's not about flashy combat or big explosions. It's about diving headfirst into the mind of a broken-down detective in a city that feels like it's crumbling under the weight of its own history. The gameplay is this bold mix of dialogue, choices, and deep introspection where every decision actually feels like it matters. And your personality literally shapes how the story unfolds. The world is gritty, weird, and weirdly beautiful, packed with strange characters, philosophical debates, and moments that'll make you laugh, cringe, or sit there silently questioning your life choices. It's like stepping into a living, breathing novel where your thoughts and emotions are part of the gameplay mechanics. And somehow, that makes every scene feel incredibly personal and intense. The freedom you have in shaping your detective. Whether he's clever, unhinged, empathetic, or just completely chaotic is unmatched. And honestly, there's nothing else out there that blends narrative, world building, and character development quite like this. It's not just a game you play, it's an experience you live, and once you're in it, you won't want to leave that strange, foggy corner of the world until you've seen every twisted truth it has to offer.
Even then, Mazov says it's the arrogance of capital that will be its ultimate undoing. It does not believe it can fail, which is why it must fail.
Their faces blurred, yet frozen, as though in ambrotype.
Or if you've ever wanted to live out the ultimate crime fantasy in a world that feels like it never stops moving, Grand Theft Auto V is the kind of experience that grabs you and doesn't let go. From the second you drop into Los Santos, you're hit with this massive, living city packed with personality, attitude, and pure chaos in the best way possible. You get to bounce between 3 insanely different protagonists, each with their own wild story and style, and it makes the whole ride feel fresh and unpredictable. One minute, you're pulling off high-stakes heists with precision planning. The next, you're off-roading through the mountains, flying a jet through skyscrapers, or just messing around with the absurd number of things you can do in the open world. The freedom is unreal, whether you want to follow the story, go full rogue, or just soak in the sights. There's always something pulling you in. And the level of detail in everything from the radio stations to the random interactions makes the city feel alive, like it's reacting to you. And don't even get me started on the online side, where the world expands into an endless sandbox of chaos, teamwork, betrayal, and non-stop action. It's one of those rare games where even after hundreds of hours, you're still discovering new ways to have fun, and every session feels like your own personalized action movie.
We just gotta bring their plane down low, force it to drop the cargo, and deliver it ourselves. That route is the fastest way to the top. You know, it's also... So, Everhard has this elite thing for serious shit. The more you go...
There's something absolutely magical about riding through an open plain with the sun setting behind the mountains and your horse kicking up dust as the world around you feels alive in a way few games ever capture. And Red Dead Redemption 2 nails that feeling like nothing else out there. It's not just about being a cowboy or getting into shootouts. This is a fully immersive journey where you live and breathe in a time that feels lost to history. Every tiny detail in the world, from the way animals move to the shifting weather, makes it feel like you're actually there. And the characters, man, they're so real and flawed and raw that you end up caring about them like old friends. The story is deep, emotional, and full of those moments where you just sit back and think about what just happened. But it's not just the main story that grabs you. It's the way the world constantly pulls you in with random encounters, campfire chats, hunting trails, and the quiet moments where you're just existing in this stunningly beautiful, brutal world, and the controls might feel deliberate at times, but that's the point. It wants you to slow down and really soak in the world around you. And when it all clicks, there's nothing else like it. It's one of those rare games that feels less like playing and more like stepping into another life entirely. And once you've experienced it, it sticks with you long after the credits roll. Alright, that's going to do it for today's video on 14 perfect 10-10 games you need to play right now. I had a blast putting this one together, and I hope you found a few games to add to your must-play list. If you enjoyed hanging out, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. There's always more awesome stuff on the way. Drop a comment and let me know which game from the list is your favorite, or if there's one you think I missed. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.